Hey, what's going on, folks? Welcome to Consoletronix. So, fellow Sega fan and all-round nice bloke Sega sent me is asking YouTubers to open old wounds and restoke the rivalry between the superpowers of the 16-bit era, the Sega Mega Drive and Super Nintendo. And while I'm planning to throw my hat into the ring with my thoughts on the subject, I thought it would be interesting to first take a look at the mini rivalry that existed between Sega's handheld the Game Gear and Nintendo's original Game Boy. And if you've come here to hear tech specs or information on battery life, I'm happy to disappoint you, because we's all about the games over here at Consoletronix. And first category we're looking at is a staple of the era, the platformer. First up to bat is Super Mario Land, where Nintendo's mustachioed flagship character goes monochrome. You know, it boggles my mind why so many look past this game. Yes, it was superseded by its superior sequel, but this was the first Mario game I ever played, and the standard by which I judged all the others. And it set the bar high indeed. Check it out. They're heroes in a half shell, and they're green. Literally. The awesome foursome kicks some shell in a deceivingly addictive game from fallen giants Konami. Like its Super Nintendo counterpart, it's astonishing how good this game looks and plays on a Game Boy. Part 2 is the best in this trilogy of handheld titles. It's hard to believe that when this game came out, The Simpsons was the hot new thing on TV. Bart Simpson in Escape from Camp Deadly, much better than its more famous cousin, Bart vs the Space Mutants. If Federation Force made you feel sick to the pit of your stomach, then the Game Boy's got you covered with the direct sequel to the NES classic. How come nobody talks about this game anymore? It is as good as it gets. We cross platforms now to set sail on the good ship Sega and see how their hedgehog with an attitude fares on handheld. And it's basically the Master System version. In fact, it is the Master System version, but that's to be expected when you consider the Game Gear is a portable version of Sega's 8-bit console. As to the game, well, it plays really good, but squeezing a 16-bit game down to 8 is like wearing shoes a couple of sizes too small. Yeah, they fit, but get painful very quickly. Another straight port of a Master System title, but it's forgiven on the grounds of being one of the greatest games of all time. Seriously, try it. Criminally overlooked Mega Drive game goes portable in the shape of Rise Star, which has lost none of its sparkle in the transition. A classic. A personal pick, as I spent a lot of time playing this game when I was younger. Far from perfect, but lots of fun. And at the end of the day, that's what matters most. Another port, this time undead swordsman Shakan the Forever Man goes to battle with the demon hordes once more, just as challenging as its 16-bit sibling, but easily one of the best looking Game Gear games around. Ooh, it might have only been the first round, but both machines came out swinging. I just hope they have something reserved, because now things get serious with round 2. Action games. Many of you watching this probably regard Alex Kidd as Sega's mascot character before Sonic came along, but me and my friends saw things a little different. Instead, Joe Musashi was the face of Sega for us, and his Game Gear debut doesn't disappoint. Great graphics, music and plenty of challenge. Fuck Shenmue 3. I want Shinobi back. Often considered a NES exclusive, not many know this title graced both the Master System and Game Gear. Tricky, but insanely enjoyable. Classic side-scrolling beat-em-up Streets of Rage proves conclusively that good things can indeed come in small packages, with a stonking conversion. It's hard to imagine now just how big this game actually was when first released on the Mega Drive. The Game Gear port is damn near identical. I mean, Jesus Christ, look at it! You know I had to shoehorn some shoot-em-up action in here somehow, and Celeste is my pick as being one of the best on the system. A truly brilliant game. Versace. In making a video like this, you have to juggle the spinning plates of the blatantly obvious inclusions and games that many watching don't know and probably will never play. But I've included Fortified Zone because first off, this is my video, and Fortified Zone is a game I grew to love when it was all I had in a boring journey once, and in my opinion, it has stood the test of time very well. The thought of Metal Gear Solid running on Game Boy would normally be enough to have many running for the hills, but somehow they made it work, and it works very well indeed. A must-own title. Wow. I never played the NES original, so I approached this game with indifference and folded arms. But damn it, it's addictive. This is a Game Boy Color game, not to be confused with Blaster Master Boy on the original Game Boy, which is crap. Known as Bomber Boy in Japan and Atomic Punk in the States, Dyna Blasters is Bomberman Light on Game Boy, just as addictive as it sounds. Love ghouls and ghosts? Then you need to check out Gargoyle's Quest, which puts you in control of the annoying red-winged prat who terrorised you throughout that game. Demon's Crest on SNES is a direct sequel to this. We've reached the halfway point with both the Game Boy and Game Gear damn near neck and neck, but it's a marathon, not a sprint. Next category, puzzle games. What do you want me to say? It's Tetris. Everyone knows this game. Even if you haven't played it, you know it. This timeless classic, dreamt up by a mad Russian scientist, came bundled with the Game Boy and is considered by many to be a contributing factor to the success of the handheld. It might look like it's playing on a calculator, but once you start pop-up, you just can't stop. It's Tetris again, this time with Mario. I don't know why, but I always preferred this version. Don't be put off by the cutesy, kid-friendly graphics. This is a game you'll find yourself coming back to time and time again. I know, I did. I won't lie to you and say I'm a Kirby fan because I'm not. But with games like this, maybe it's time I put that right. They say that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. So prepare to be flattered sincerely with columns. Sega's attempt to cash in on the Tetris craze. Everyone I know tells me that this is an all-time classic. But, well, I like a bit more meat on the bones of my games. So I'll stick to my action games. Thank you very much. You gotta have some Klax action in here somewhere. This Atari classic plays very well on the Game Gear. Highly recommended. All you have to do in this game is walk over the blue squares and turn them red. If ever there was a case of a game being more addictive than it ever had a right to be, this is it. I can't stop playing it. I can't. It's that good. Smash blocks into enemies and save the day for decent penguins everywhere. Old school entertainment at its best. This nutty Japanese arcade conversion is a little tricky at first, but a little perseverance goes a long way with it. Lots of manic minigames to while away the hours with. It's the business end of this battle, and it's only fitting to choose a category that truly separates the men from the boys. Adventure games. The Game Gear isn't a machine renowned for its RPG library, but Defenders of Oasis, with its sumptuous graphics and Arabian theme, is a game that needs more exposure. It doesn't employ gimmicks or change for change's sake, it simply presents an old school adventure in its purest form, and I love it for it. I picked up my copy for pennies and got many happy hours out of it, and you will too if you play this game. If any of you played Shining Force or old school Fire Emblem games, you'll be right at home with this excellent small screen tactical RPG. Everyone's favourite brainless barbarian gets his own game, and it's actually a weird Gorvelius style RPG top down come side scroller. Definitely worth a bash. How many of you even knew Tails got his own series on Game Gear? Not many, I'll wager. But it's not too late. These games are fun, and let's face it, we're not going to get any new Sonic games worth playing. The first Phantasy Star on Master System is a classic role-playing game. This version plays like those old computer game text adventures. Remember them? But despite that, it retains the charm and appeal of its consoleized cousin. Gotta catch 'em all? If you stacked every Pokemon on top of one another, you'd end up somewhere around the rings of Saturn. But this insanely popular series, which revitalized the Game Boy in the late 90s and is still going strong, will always be tied to Nintendo's original handheld as one of its most enduring titles. Better than A Link to the Past? Is that even possible? Well, Link's Awakening comes closer than you might think to being one of the best Zelda games of all time. With the Final Fantasy VII Remake on the horizon, I've been going back and playing some of the Final Fantasy games I turned my nose up at originally. Will I ever learn? Simplistic old school role playing that won't convert non-believers, but if RPGs are your thing, you could do a hell of a lot worse than this. It might say Final Fantasy on the box, but this is the Western release of Square's other series, Romancing Saga. That said, it's brilliant, so play it. You'll get your chance to shine. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for our two combatants. I'm sure you'll agree they both put up a tremendous fight. And as much as I'd like to say that in a way they're both winners, if I did, I would be a great big fat liar, because there can only be one winner. And now it falls to me to slip into my favourite role, that of judge, jury and executioner, as I have to choose the victor. And I can't believe I'm going to say this, but for me, the Game Boy wins. I'm sorry, Segato Sanshiro, I tried my best. With its much more impressive third-party support, it was always going to be very difficult for the Game Gear to compete. And it tried its best, it nipped at the Game Boy's heels for many years, but the Game Boy takes it. This machine was released in 1989 and was still being sold by the bucket load well into the 21st century in the shape of the Game Boy Color. You just can't argue with that kind of success. So folks, this has been my Game Boy versus Game Gear battle. Did you like it? Let me know in the comment section. What did you think of the games I showed off? Should I have chosen other titles? I tried my best to mix it up a little bit, throw in a few surprises. And before I do my 16-bit battle between the Super Nintendo and Sega Mega Drive, I will be doing another 8-bit battle. See if you can guess what that one's going to be. So folks, let me know what you thought in the comment section. Like the video. If you haven't done so already, why not subscribe? My name's Gray, this is Consoletronix. A lot more videos coming soon. Look out for them, and I'll see you soon.